In the opening, Clint Barton is showing his girl toxophilism on his detached homestead while his significant other readies a cookout lunch for them. Abruptly, Clint's little girl evaporates and the remainder of Clint's family crumbles, alongside half of all life across the universe, the consequence of Thanos snapping his fingers subsequent to obtaining each of the 6 boundlessness stones. Cloud and Tony Distinct are abandoned in space following their loss by Thanos on Titan, yet are gotten back to Earth via Toon Danvers and rejoined with Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Pennant, Steve Rogers, Rocket, Thor, and James Rhodes. The group figures out how to take the Endlessness Stones back from Thanos and use them to invert his activities, yet learn after finding him that he had utilized the stones a second chance to obliterate them, forestalling their further use. He lets the excess Vindicators know that he did as such to try not to involve the stones for additional terrible purposes. Maddened, Thor decapitates Thanos, saying it's what he ought to have done in Wakanda. After 5 years, Scott Lang escapes from the quantum domain to find that his little girl Cassie is currently a youngster and that Trust Van Dyne, alongside half of the populace, has vanished in the snap. Rogers has been driving anguish advising meetings for survivors actually battling with the impacts of the snap, while Romanoff is eagerly overseeing both Earth and the remainder of the universe with the assistance of Rhodes, Danvers, Okoye, Rocket, and Cloud. Lang goes to Romanoff and Rogers, and makes sense of that while 5 years had passed for them, just 5 hours had passed for him in the quantum domain and that time extends much diversely there. The 3 go to Distinct, who is presently bringing up a youngster with Pepper Potts, and make sense of their hypothesis that the quantum domain can be utilized to travel once more into the past and take the limitlessness stones before Thanos can gather them. Distinct at first oddballs their proposition with worry about taking a chance with his family and the harmony he has found, yet in the wake of reflecting upon the deficiency of Peter Parker chooses to test hypothetical models that would work with Lang's quantum burrow, in the end tracking down one that works. With unmistakable now ready, the excess Justice Fighters set off to reassemble their group. Bruce Pennant has now embraced the mass as a piece of him, and has merged his own cognizance and the mass together into one. Romanoff, subsequent to hearing reports from Rhodes of a professional killer that works with comparative techniques to Barton, passes on to track down him. Barton, consumed with anguish after the deficiency of his family, has been working under the mantle Ronin while mercilessly slaughtering criminal cartels and groups all over the planet to attempt to work on the world that is still left. Natasha tracks down him in Japan and after some persuading, he consents to rejoin the group to attempt to bring his family back. Standard and Rocket go to the modest community of New Asgard, where Valkyrie and the last overcomers of Asgard have settled. They there find Thor, who has become overpowered by responsibility over neglecting to kill Thanos in Wakanda. Thor has become overweight, his hair and facial hair are congested, and he invests his free energy eating low-quality food, becoming inebriated, and playing Fortnite with his companions Korg and Meek. Thor hesitantly consents to get back to the Vindicators after some persuading from Rocket and Standard. Subsequent to testing the quantum time machine on Barton, who affirms that it works, the Vindicators are brought together with an arrangement, Pennant, Rogers, Lang, and Obvious leave to recover the time, brain, and space stones during the skirmish of New York in 2012. Standard goes to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where he is educated by the Old One that requiring some investment stone from her timetable would forestall Stephen Abnormal's future endeavors to prevent Caecilius from obliterating the laws of nature. Notwithstanding, when Flag tells her that Peculiar surrendered the time stone energetically to Thanos, she permits Pennant to make them infer, Bizarre had planned for a particular grouping of occasions to happen for Thanos to be crushed. Standard likewise guarantees the stones' revisitation of their legitimate courses of events to forestall any evil impacts. Lang an unmistakable endeavor to take the Space Stone after the Justice Fighters seize it from Loki. Lang gives Unmistakable's previous self a gentle heart failure by pulling a circuit in his counterfeit heart, while Obvious takes the folder case lodging the Tesseract when no one is looking. Their arrangement is obstructed when Distinct drops the portfolio after he is incidentally hit by the Massachusetts Loki, then takes the Space Stone and uses it to get away from Care. Rogers prevails with regards to taking the Psyche Stone from covered Hydra specialists, however finds his previous self, who botches him for a hidden Loki. Subsequent to overcoming past Steve, Rogers gets back together with Obvious and Lang, who currently should sort out one more method for getting the Space Stone without running out of the restricted inventory of PIM particles that permit them to go through the quantum domain. Lang gets back to the present with the Brain Stone while Rogers and Distinct devise an arrangement to take the Space Stone from a U.S. Armed Force establishment during the 1970s, while likewise taking further vials of PIM particles to make the excursion back home. While there, Rogers cites Peggy Carter and Distinct has a significant discussion with his dad Howard. Rocket and Thor travel to Asgard to recover the Truth Stone before Malekith utilizes it against the 9 domains. While in Asgard, Thor is reminded that his mom, Frigga, would bite the dust soon and gets an opportunity experience with her while Rocket takes the ether, the disintegrated form of the Truth Stone, from Jane Cultivate. The 2 revisitation of Earth after Frigga directs Thor and he recovers his sledge Mjolnir, thrilled to find that he is as yet deserving of it. Cloud and Rhodes travel to Morag to take the Power Stone before Peter Plume does. As Rhodes gets back to the present with the Power Stone, Cloud glitches and stays on Morag. With 2 consciousnesses working on Cloud's frameworks, Thanos and Blackthroat find the presence of future Cloud and go to abduct her. Cloud acknowledges what has occurred and attempts to caution the others, however is past the point of no return. Thanos examines her recollections and finds the Justice Fighters' arrangement, and sends the more steadfast past Cloud back to the present as a government operative. Barton and Romanoff travel to Vormir to recover the Spirit Stone, however are clashed when Red Skull, guardian of the stone, illuminates them that it must be recovered by forfeiting somebody they love. The 2 battle about which will make the penance, with Romanoff eventually accepting any penalty, while a troubled Barton gets back to Earth with the Spirit Stone. After everybody has gotten back to the present on the planet, Obvious, Rocket, and Flag set off on a mission to make a glove to use the stones, one developed from the equivalent nanotech of Unmistakable's most recent Iron Man suit. Flag volunteers himself to employ the glove and bring back everybody that vanished in Thanos' snap, thinking that he can endure both the gamma radiation and the massive aggravation and injury welcomed on by utilizing the stones. He succeeds, however they are very quickly gone after by Thanos, who has been brought to Earth by the Sham Cloud, annihilating the quantum entry all the while. Thanos lessens the Justice Fighters' central command to rubble, separating the group and making the glove fall into Barton's security. The previous Cloud is killed by her future self as she endeavors to take the Boundlessness Stones from Barton, while Rogers, Thor, and Distinct stand up to Thanos, who concludes he will rather utilize the Endlessness Stones to obliterate the universe and make one in his vision. The 3 battle Thanos one-on-one, with Rogers affirming Thor's hypothesis that he truly deserve employing Mjolnir, however are each outmaneuvered by Thanos. Not long after Thanos' military grounds on the planet, T'Challa shows up before Rogers, alongside the Vindicators in general and different partners restored by Standard, prior to sending off an attack on Thanos and his military. After an extensive fight during which Obvious is brought together with Parker and Plume is brought together with past Gamera, Thanos grapples with various Vindicators for the Boundlessness Stones. At the point when he's limited by Wanda Maximoff's energy, Thanos orders Glaive to have his boat fire numerous energy impacts, almost crushing the Vindicators' endeavors. Chief Wonder returns, taking out Thanos' boat while battling for control of the glove. Utilizing the nanotech from the new glove, Unmistakable moves the Limitlessness Stones from Thanos' hand to his own and utilizes them to transform Thanos and his whole armed force into debris, victoriously expressing "I'm Iron Man." Parker and Potts console Distinct as he bites the dust from openness to the stone's radiation. Following the fight, the Vindicators hold a memorial service for Obvious, whose imprint eye circular segment reactor is drifted out on the lake close to his home. Barton and Wanda Maximoff take comfort in the way that Romanoff and Vision, who didn't return in the snap, would be pleased with their triumph over Thanos. Thor makes Valkyrie the sovereign of Asgard and joins the Watchmen of the cosmic system to track down his actual reason, liberated from the weight of eminence and administration without